August of 2026 is bringing in huge changes. The North and South Node are shifting to the Leo Aquarius axis. We have two eclipses. The beginning of the month looks a little calmer, and the second half of the month looks a little more chaotic. And we have Mars going into Cancer on the 11th, so people could be a little bit more moody, passive aggressive. August will start out with Chiron going retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus. So from now on till mid-September, we may notice old wounds coming up to the surface, and we may be feeling more insecure, especially as it pertains to our finances, our security, and this could even bring a slowdown within our economy. August 8th through the 12th, Venus is trining Pluto, and this can bring a lot of intensity into our romantic relationships. Luck with money matters, intense feelings, intense attractions. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have any personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then this eclipse can affect you more intensely. There could be a lot of changes happening in your life. Maybe they already are. This eclipse does have a lot of positive aspects. We have Jupiter sitting with Mercury. Neptune is trining Jupiter and Mercury, so we can be very intuitive, very compassionate. Uranus is sextiling Mercury and Jupiter, so things can unfold out of the blue, unexpectedly, which is adding a positive flow and a lot of intensity. Jupiter and Mercury in Leo are opposing Pluto in Aquarius, and this can bring out a lot of secrets. The things that are unknown can come out to the surface, and we can also be having those much needed conversations, all those hard conversations we never want to bring up, unexpected calls, unexpected communication. This is really great for creativity, creative ideas, breaking out of stagnation. Something comes, shakes up your life, and you make changes. If you want to know how this eclipse cycle is going to go for you, go back to half of 2007, 2008, 2009, or 1990, 1991. That is when we had the South Node in Leo, the North Node in Aquarius. And this is bringing in a new beginning to the area of life. You have the sign of Leo. But as with all eclipses, things may unfold out of the blue. Things can be chaotic, so try not to make any rash decisions. The Sabian symbol for 20 degrees of Leo is American Indians perform a ritual to the sun. So it's all about gathering with like-minded people, celebrations, getting back to nature, bringing out your creativity for other people, the recognition of higher forces, practicing your craft so many times that it becomes a ritual. The Leo solar eclipse is happening in Ashlesha Nakshatra. That's the lunar mansion behind this eclipse. The symbol is a coiled serpent, and this lunar mansion is all about stripping away what does not serve, what does not belong, going through a process of purification by using intuition, strategy, and removing the negative aspects of your life. There's going to be deep healing, and what is left is authentic. I did make a separate video for this particular eclipse, and I also have a video about eclipses to personal planets and points if you want to watch that to gain more information. August 18th through the 24th, Saturn in Aries is opposing Venus in Libra, and this can bring challenges and restrictions with our finances. And there may be challenges or roadblocks within our personal relationships, which can lead to pessimism, negative thinking. And as we're going into the second part of August, that's where things get kind of crazy. People can be more emotional. Things can start happening out of the blue, and there could be a lot of frustration going into the second part of August. August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 10 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, if you have personal planets close to 4 degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius, you can also feel some changes, especially because we had that Mars-Uranus conjunction at 3 degrees of Gemini, that basket configuration happening in the sky where all the planets were at 4 degrees. And this is going to trigger all of that. So I would say all early degree mutable placements will feel this one. And this one is bringing in more chaotic energy. People could be more unpredictable, more emotional towards the end of the month. Uranus, the planet of sudden happenings, is squaring the sun, and it is squaring Mercury. So a lot of unpredictable events can unfold, unpredictable communication. We have Mercury opposing the moon, so we could struggle with communication, misunderstand what people are trying to tell us. And Saturn in Aries is going to square Mars in Cancer, and this can bring delays and a lot of frustrations. We may feel like we want to initiate something, do something, but something is blocking us. Basically, from the 18th, things start getting a lot harder. There's going to be a lot of frustration, a lot of tense emotions, unpredictable behavior, impulsive actions, and a lot of confusion within communication. So the second half of August is definitely more tense. If you want to know what themes this particular eclipse is bringing in, look back to August 28th of 2007. This one is almost at 5 degrees. And with eclipses, the change can happen a few months prior, a few months after, or during the eclipse. The Sabian symbol for 4 degrees of Pisces is heavy car traffic on a narrow isthmus linking 2 seaside resorts. So we can interpret this as looking at both the spiritual and practical aspects of life, a period of change. There could be some indecision, some choice involved, passage from one stage to another, being at a crossroad or maybe being pulled in 2 different directions, letting go, releasing something to move on to something else. The Pisces lunar eclipse is happening in the Shadabhisha nakshatra, represented by a circle, the veiling star, representing illusion, healing, protection, research, and isolation. The power of this lunar mansion is the ability to heal and hold things together. The ruler is Rahu, the north node, and it represents healers, hidden realities, research, investigation, and the ability to build something out of nothing. Let's talk about the numerology. 2026 is a year 10. August is a month 8. So the whole total is 18. And 18 in tarot, if we look at it, it's the moon card, which means this month can bring a lot of confusion, anxiety, fears, secrets. People may have hidden motives. There can be a lot of misunderstandings. And the key really is to use your intuition. Trust yourself. Do not look for the answers from the outside. The answers are within you. I'm going to have all the timestamps down below so you can watch for your zodiac sign. Now, the rising sign is always the most important. As we age, the closer we get to 50 is when we're going to see our sun sign personality really come out. So your sun is actually very important, especially the older that you are. Some people identify more with that. And your moon sign is about your family, your connections, and how you feel about what is going on around you. If you find this helpful, like, comment, subscribe for more. I'm going to have all the zodiac signs timestamped down below. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. August 3rd, Chiron is stationing retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus. So from now on until mid-September, financial issues, self-esteem issues can come to the forefront. Or you could really be reevaluating where it is that your money goes, payments, making a budgeting plan, and maybe even getting rid of certain subscriptions. The first 11 days of August, Mars is in the 3rd house. So you could really be focused on learning something, learning a skill, promoting yourself on social media, getting out more within your community. August 11th, Mars will shift into your 4th house of home and family. So the rest of August, the focus is on your home, your family, maybe working on home-based projects, fixing things within the home, renovations. There could be arguments, disagreements with family members, or maybe something that breaks that needs to be fixed. in the home or with your vehicle. So there is a big focus on home and family, your close connections in the month of August. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets from about 15 to 25 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then you may feel this more intensely. There could be other changes happening in your life. Mercury is conjunct Jupiter, giving us options. For some of you, this could be multiple romantic options, starting a new creative project, turning a creative talent into a business. For a lot of you, this marks the beginning of a new romantic relationship. This is the beginning stages of love, meeting somebody out of the blue unexpectedly for a lot of you, finding new hobbies that are really fun, that bring you a lot of enjoyment, taking a relationship to the next level, a bigger commitment, marriage, engagement. And for some of you, this could even mean pregnancy, childbirth, having grandchildren. There could be new beginnings in the lives of your children. And you may notice these new beginnings over the next year because we do not have another solar eclipse in Leo until 2027. And we have a lot of positive aspects to this eclipse. I have a whole video on this eclipse if you want to watch that separately. Mercury and Jupiter are getting a trine from Neptune, a sextile from Uranus. So you may feel very inspired to begin something new. On the negative, Mercury and Jupiter are opposing Pluto, and this means much needed conversations are happening with a romantic partner, with a child, or with your social network, your social circle, close friends. Neptune in your first house is going to oppose Venus in your seventh house. So from August 10th to the 15th, there can be confusion in relationships or truths that come to the forefront within relationships you were not aware of before. And because the North and South Node are shifting signs to the Leo Aquarius axis, the next 18 months brings a lot of changes to your friendships, people that you associate with, your future goals, your dreams, recognition from the public, and your fifth house of romance, creativity, and children. And because the North Node is going to be in your 11th house, there's going to be a big focus for you, Aries, on attaining what it is that you desire, planning out your future, making new friends, joining new groups of people that you align with, meeting people that can help you achieve your goals. Jupiter in your fifth house for the next year is going to bring in more opportunities for love, creative self-expression, hobbies, enjoyment, fun. But because you're going to have the South Node in your fifth house, there could also be detachment or releasing outdated hobbies, and you might replace them with new ways of enjoying yourself. There could also be changes in the lives of your children. Your children going through big milestones in their life over the next 18 months. If you want to get a sense of how the next 18 months might play out for you, look back to 2008, 2009, or even 1990, 1991. Those were the times that we had the North Node in Aquarius and the South Node in Leo. The themes from those years are coming back around yet again. Of course, they're always going to play out a little bit differently, but you can always notice a theme. And for this eclipse cycle, for you Aries, it's friends, romance, goals, children, creativity. And because you have Venus in your seventh house pretty much all month long, the joy will come from connecting with other people, spending quality time with a partner, a spouse. For a lot of you, this is definitely the beginning of a new romance, a new relationship. If you are single, it's an excellent time to meet somebody new, to start a new romance. Because there is a new moon solar eclipse in your fifth house, Venus is in your seventh house. So there's going to be a big focus on romantic relationships. At the very end of the month, August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to even 10 degrees of Virgo or Pisces, then this eclipse will be felt more intensely for you. There could be other endings, new beginnings happening in your life, but this is landing in your 12th house. It's the house of your mental health, your subconscious mind, things happening behind the scenes. This lunar eclipse for you, Aries, is about letting go of the past, painful memories, grudges, addictions, negative habits, overanalyzing, overthinking, negative thinking patterns that hold you back, because the 12th house is all about self-sabotage. Those little things that we do, that voice in our head that tells us we can't do it, that's the 12th house. And this is a time you can let go, release negative patterns. So towards the end of the month, you're going to want to be alone a little bit more, wanting to withdraw. This area also rules over our sleep. Some of you could be changing your sleep patterns. And for some of you, you are getting rid of a big expense or a big expense that comes out of the blue. Now, this eclipse is a little bit harder than the one on August 12th, just because of all the aspects. Saturn is opposing Venus in your 7th house, which could mean restrictions in relationships with finances, or like there is something standing in the way. Uranus is squaring the sun, it's squaring Mercury, so there is a desire to break free from something, but it also means that events could come out of nowhere, we're not prepared for them. Mars is squaring Saturn. There could be restrictions to what it is that we want to do, and there could be a lot of frustration. And it may seem like there is a lot of opposition to our plans. So for those of you who have personal planets close to that 4 degrees of Pisces or even Virgo, then the end of August can feel very chaotic. You can feel this if you have any early degree mutable placements. Look back to August 28th of 2007. That is when we had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces. So we're looking at the summer of 2007. What themes were you going through in your life? For you, Aries, August brings a big focus to home, family, your place of living, your relationships. There is a new beginning in the area of children, creativity, and romance. And you are releasing negative patterns and past negative memories that you've been holding on to. So it's a big month. A lot of changes are occurring. I hope that this was helpful for you, Aries. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. August is such a huge month with 2 eclipses. On August 3rd, Chiron, the wounded healer, is stationing retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus. So from now on until mid-September, you may feel more insecurities as it pertains to your finances, your looks, and maybe even your health, or even old wounds from the past can resurface. The first 10 days of August, Mars is still in your 2nd house. So the focus is on making money, the buying and selling of possessions. There may be some impulsive spending, or a financial matter comes to the forefront. After the 11th, Mars will move into your 3rd house. So from the 11th, for the rest of the month, the focus is on community. So you're more social. You want to get out of the house. You could be learning something new. You're going to be more ambitious. You're going to have a big urge to communicate, gossip, get online, get on social media. August 8th through the 12th, there is a trine from Venus to Pluto, and this is really great for finding a better job, getting a promotion, more money coming to you. Very great for your career, for finances. A great time to start or initiate something new. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then this eclipse will affect you more profoundly. There could be other changes occurring in your life. I do have a separate video on this eclipse if you want to watch that. But this eclipse is landing in your 4th house of home and family, which means there could be major changes over the next year within your home. And this could be a new beginning, such as a new pet, a new baby, a new roommate, moving, buying a new vehicle, new developments in your mother's life. The relationship with your mother can change. You could be moving in with a roommate, a partner. Now, during this eclipse, Mercury is sitting with Jupiter in your 4th house, so there's more options. Neptune is trining Mercury and Jupiter, so we could be inspired to take a new approach in our dealings with family members. Uranus is sextiling Mercury and Jupiter. So there's a lot of beneficial aspects. On the negative, Neptune is going to oppose Venus, so there could be confusion in relationships. And Jupiter and Mercury are going to oppose Pluto in your 10th house, so there could be much needed conversations, hard conversations that come up within your family, or even with bosses, people that you work with. If there are any secrets within the family, within the workplace that you are not aware of, the middle of the month, you may become aware of them. Things can come out into the open. And now that the North and South Node are moving into the Leo Aquarius axis, the next 18 months, there's going to be big changes within your home, your family, where you live. With the North Node going into your 10th house, there's going to be a big focus on work, your reputation. You could be getting new bosses, reporting to new people, a promotion, a new title, starting your own business, become more visible to the public. A lot of times it's a time where we get ahead in our career. And then with the South Node in your 4th house, you may feel more detached from your home and family life. But this is also where Jupiter is transiting for the next year, so there is more opportunities for growth. Buying a new home, a new vehicle, redecorating your house. And for some of you, this could even be marriage, moving in with a spouse, a partner. Because the North Node will be in your 10th house, and the 10th house is a rise in status. And that could be through career, through promotion, through business, through marriage, a spouse. The next 18 months can bring a big rise in your status, Taurus. And then towards the end of the month, August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, and even Gemini or Sagittarius, the closer to the 4 degrees that you have a personal planet in those signs, then this will be a more intense eclipse. There could be other changes in your life depending on that personal planet. And this is a very intense eclipse. There is a lot of challenging aspects, so the end of the month can feel pretty chaotic. The last time that we had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces was August 28th of 2007. If you want to look back at what was going on in your life the summer of 2007. And this is landing in your 11th house of groups, friendships, future goals. Now, for some of you, this could be a big ending to a group project that you have been working on for a long time. And there could be big changes to your social network, your social circle, your friendships. This could be the ending of a friendship, or the relationship that you have with a friend can change. And this could come because somebody moves, gets into a relationship. So the dynamic that you have with a close friend, a friendship circle can change. You leaving a certain charity or group or club that you belong to. Those of you who have older siblings, there could be something going on in your siblings' lives at this time, or your relationship can change. So this full moon can really feel like a friend, someone you've been really close to has let you down. And it doesn't even have to be a very close friend. It could just be your close associates, people that you socialize with. And this could also be a goal that you just decide is not worth it anymore. The ruler of this eclipse, Jupiter, is in your 4th house along with the South Node. So for a lot of you, this could actually have to do with family. Changes happening in the family. You may be having to move, let go of a vehicle, changes in your mother's life. The reason this is a tougher eclipse is because there's so many squares from Uranus. Uranus is squaring the sun, it's squaring Mercury. Saturn is opposing Venus, which puts a lot of restrictions to our plans, our relationships, our finances. And the Uranus squares means things can happen out of nowhere, and we're not prepared for them. Mars is squaring Saturn, which means there's going to be a lot of frustration. And there's going to be a lot of blocks to what it is that we want to do, we want to accomplish. Or at the very least, there may be a lot of delays. So the end of the month is going to bring in some frustration, out of the blue scenarios we are not prepared for. And we can be more emotional. So August is a huge month, full of twists and turns. The first 10 days of August, you're very focused on finances, making money, buying and selling possessions. After the 11th, for the rest of the month, you're very much focused on getting out of the house. You're focused on a skill set, your goals, gossip, chat with people, get on social media more. And because your ruler, Venus, is in the 6th house, working on your health, organization can bring in a lot of enjoyment, or just having better working relationships with your coworkers, your employees. I hope that this was helpful for you, Taurus. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. August 3rd, Chiron, the wounded healer, is stationing retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus. So from August until mid-September, some of you may be healing issues from the past, healing subconscious negative patterns. But this can bring up past memories, past hurts, insecurities from past romantic relationships, or insecurities around finances. And because you also have Saturn and Neptune now retrograding in the 11th house, the next few months could really have you questioning your friendships and your future goals. Some of you may completely want to change what it is that you want for your future, or decide to go about it in a completely different way. The first 10 days of August, you still have Mars in your first house, so you're more motivated. Some of you initiating brand new projects. Be more watchful. You can still be more argumentative the first 10 days of August and more accident prone. But you do have more energy. Now on the 11th, when Mars moves into your second house, the focus is going to shift to money. So the majority of the month, the focus will be on making money, buying and selling possessions. Watch out for impulsive spending, shopping too much. And this also means that you could be setting up a new budgeting plan, or a financial matter can come to the forefront. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then this eclipse can affect you more profoundly. There may be other changes happening in your life depending on what that planet represents. This is bringing in a new beginning to your community, your neighborhood. You may notice your community changing, the stores that are around you changing. The places that you like to hang out can change over the next year, as well as your neighbors. Your close-knit community could be going through a big change. New beginnings in your sibling's life, and your relationship with the sibling might change. Your mindset and the way that you communicate with people can change. This is the house where we take the initiative to learn a new skill, learn something new, get online, make a new social media account, make a website. Some of you could even be buying computers, cameras, cell phones, tools that you need to do a skill or do a job. Taking on a greater interest in your community and in online communities, chat rooms, blogs, short distance trips, vacations, changing up your daily routine, where you hang out. Mercury will be conjunct Jupiter during this eclipse, and this gives you options and is signaling you're starting something new in the area of skill sets and communication, because Mercury is your ruler. Neptune is trining Jupiter and Mercury, and Uranus from your first house is sextiling Mercury and Jupiter. So you may get creative downloads, creative ideas that just come out of nowhere. Those of you who want to start a business, write, teach, make a blog, a website, a YouTube channel, this is a fantastic time to initiate this. There is a lot of positive aspects to this eclipse. Now, on the negative, Neptune is opposing Venus, which can create confusion within romantic relationships. And Mercury, your ruler, and Jupiter are both opposing Pluto during this eclipse. And this means there could be much needed harsh conversations that are had with siblings, teachers, neighbors, or really anybody close to you. This can also be a time where you uncover things that have been kept hidden from you. You want to try to not make any rash decisions on or around these eclipses that we are having. So towards the end of the month and in the middle of the month, information could still be coming in and a lot could still be unfolding around you. The middle of the month is also when the nodes will shift over to the Leo Aquarius axis. So for the next 18 months, the 3rd and 9th house area is where the big focus will be for you, Gemini. And this is skill sets, learning, teaching, publishing, trips, vacations, your community, your neighborhood, your siblings, schooling, coaching, books, documentaries. The next 18 months will have you shifting your perspective, and these eclipses could even lead to a big change in your belief system. And this could be anything from religious, political, philosophical beliefs, a special teacher coming into your life, you deciding you want to publish a book, publish your work, go back to school, learn a completely new skill, get more credentials for your career. The next 18 months could really shift your thought process, your conversation skills, and even how you like to spend your time, because the 3rd house is how we like to spend our time when we're out and about within our community. And the 9th house is not just travel. but travel through your mind, traveling through books, documentaries, teachings, even watching YouTube videos that teach you something, change your perspective. The majority of the month, Venus is in your 5th house, Gemini. Those of you who are single, an excellent time to meet somebody, fall in love. Some of you might begin a new romantic relationship or just really enjoy working on a creative project, spending time with your children, having more fun, more joy, maybe even putting aside some time to spend on your hobbies. So when things get hard throughout the month, that area of life is going to bring you a lot more pleasure. Towards the end of August, things can get more chaotic. August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, then this will be an intense time for you because this is a very intense eclipse. If you are an early degree Gemini rising, or you have personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees in Gemini and Sagittarius, then this eclipse can bring in a lot of changes. The closer to that 4-degree mark, the stronger you can feel this, but this is going to be a time of intense change, unpredictable change. We have Uranus in your sign, and Uranus is squaring the sun. Not all of you will experience crazy changes, but there is a big chance some of you could have a lot of changes within the home, family, career, your own personal look, your personal style, and even within your relationships. The last time we had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces was August 28th, 2007. If you want to look back and see what was going on in your life around that time. And for you, this is happening in the area of life that deals with work, career, your reputation. Now, for some of you, you are reaching a big career milestone. You're celebrating something because a full moon is something coming to its natural end. And it does not have to be a negative thing. But this is a lunar eclipse, so there is a sense that we are releasing something. But at the same time, this is where the North Node was just transiting. So there is going to be a new beginning or a sense of you wanting to start fresh. For some of you, this could be the end of a certain job, employment. What you do on a day-to-day basis, what you are known for, may change. Maybe you were a stay-at-home mom and now you're going back into the workforce. Or you were in the workforce and now you want to be a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home parent. Some of you may decide you want to retire, completely change from one line of work to another. Bosses, superiors, people that you report to at work could be changing, becoming more visible to the public, being in the spotlight, or just even your work, what it is that you do, becoming more visible. There could be changes in the life of your father, your relationship may change. The ruler of this eclipse, Jupiter, is sitting with the South Node in your 3rd house area. So for a lot of you, there could be changes in the life of your sibling. You could just be releasing outdated thinking patterns and the way that you go about doing your job and how you promote yourself on social media. Towards the end of the month, there's a lot of tougher aspects happening. Uranus is squaring the sun. It's squaring Mercury, your ruler, which means when it comes to work, your career, things can just happen out of nowhere. You're not prepared for the things that may happen. So there could be a lot of surprises. Moon will be opposite Mercury, so we could be misreading people's emotions, misreading what people are trying to tell us. Saturn is squaring Mars, and this always brings in frustration, us wanting to do something, but there's delays, blockages. And Saturn is opposing Venus, which means we could have roadblocks or delays with finances or in our romantic relationships. So try not to make any rash decisions because there's going to be a lot of chaos going on anyway with all the Uranus squares. So it's a huge month. Big changes coming up for you, Gemini. The first 10 days, you're really focused on yourself. You have more energy. After that, the focus shifts to making money, shopping, working on your career. The fun and joy will come from romantic partners, spending time with your children, or just having fun, working on creative projects. The solar eclipse will bring in a new beginning to your skill sets, your daily routine, or how you promote yourself. And the lunar eclipse is bringing in changes to your career, reputation, to your bosses, your superiors. A big month for everyone. Lots of twists and turns. I hope that this was helpful for you, Gemini. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. August 3rd, Chiron, the wounded healer, will station retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus. So the next month and a half might be having you question your friendships and your future goals. Insecurities around finances or self-esteem issues can come up over the next month and a half. The first 10 days of August, there might be some insomnia, hard time falling asleep, dreams that wake you up at night, revisiting issues from the past, people from the past coming back into your life. You could be feeling more withdrawn and like you have less energy. And there could even be unexpected expenses. August 11th, Mars will move into your first house. So from the 11th moving forward, you're going to have more energy. You're going to be motivated to initiate something new. But you can be more accident prone and more argumentative. So watch your communication because you can rub people the wrong way. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then this eclipse can be more profound in your life and the events that you experience. Overall, this is a new beginning with your money, the money that you make, possessions, valuables. For some of you, this is a new job, a promotion, a new business idea, making a bigger purchase. There could also be some family dynamics, family responsibilities that are changing. You could be taking on more responsibilities as it pertains to finances, family. We have Jupiter and Mercury sitting with this eclipse. The fact that Jupiter is conjuncting with Mercury gives us a lot of options. Neptune is going to trine Mercury and Jupiter, and Uranus is going to sextile Mercury and Jupiter. So for you, this can bring in creative downloads for a new business, and new beginnings could come out of the blue, especially as they pertain to your work, the way that you make money. Now, Jupiter and Mercury will also oppose Pluto in your 8th house. So some of you will be having harsh, needed conversations about finances with a spouse, partner, accountant, financial advisor, or your family members. Some of you could also be doing deep research, and secrets can come to light. If there's any secrets between you and a romantic partner, you and a spouse, then this eclipse can bring the secrets out. Neptune is also opposing Venus, so there could be some confusion in relationships, around finances, around the eclipse time. This is a new beginning in making money, the way that you make money. Maybe the way that you save money, making a big purchase, or even the sale of a home, the sale of a vehicle, because this is where the South Node is. So over the next 18 months, this is also the area of life that you're going to be releasing something. Now that the nodes are switching over to the Leo Aquarius axis, look back to 2008, 2009, 1990, 1991 for clues as to what themes can come up. But the second 8th house axis is all about family responsibility, joint finances, inheritances, physical possessions, anything that you find valuable, which also includes your close friends and family members. So over the next 18 months, your values may change, your spending habits may change. There could also be a change of employment, how much money you bring in. And because the North Node is going to be in your 8th house, it's a time where a spouse or partner could start making more money. You could get very interested in occult knowledge, astrology, human design, tarot, psychology. The 8th house is also where we process pain, shame, guilt. It's the house where we benefit from the resources of other people. And that could be a spouse, a partner, business partner, taxes, stocks, bonds, inheritances, and it's also the house of sudden transformation. And this could be good or bad because that is the 8th house. It's the underworld. It's the unknown. But overall, the next 18 months is going to bring in more resources from other people. Even if you need to get financing for a mortgage, a business, that's the 8th house. Other people's finances will be more available to you. But unlike 2008, 2009, Jupiter, the planet of luck and abundance, is transiting your second house as well for the next year. And this is going to expand financial prosperity. A lot of you could start making more money, feel better about yourself, more self-confidence, buy possessions that you've been wanting to buy for a really long time. And this could even mean making really big purchases. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, money, is sitting in your fourth house for most of August. And this means spending time with your family, reorganizing, decorating your home, hanging out at home, staying in more. That is where the joy will come from. So if things get tense throughout the month with these eclipses, that is the area of life you're going to find more joy, happiness, and pleasure. August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees of Virgo or Pisces, then this can affect you more. Really, any personal planets, 3, 4, 5 degrees, Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, this can be an intense full moon. There's a lot going on. The last time we had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces was August 28th of 2007. So you could look back at that time and see what exactly you were going through around that time. Uranus is squaring the sun, it's squaring the moon, so there's an element of things happening out of the blue. Mars is squaring Saturn, and this always brings frustration, delays, or restrictions. And Saturn is opposing Venus, which could bring delays or restrictions with finances, within romantic relationships. The moon opposing Mercury will make communication just harder to decipher. There could be misunderstandings and confusion, a lot of frustration, and out of the blue scenarios we're not prepared for. And for you, this is the 9th house of higher education, travel, teaching, learning, publishing, and your belief systems. For some of you, this could be a fallout with a teacher deciding to go a completely different route with education. Those of you who are traveling around this time, things could get hectic, expect delays. There could be unexpected issues with legal matters, passport, immigration paperwork, school, university applications. A lot of you could just be releasing outdated belief systems, changing up the way that you think or the way that you want to publish your work, teach, learn. For some of you, this just means you finished up a course of study. The ruler of this eclipse, Jupiter, is sitting in your second house, essentially tying in both these eclipses, because both of these eclipses will have an impact on your values, your money, possessions, close family. So for a lot of you, anything that you are learning or publishing, whether it is just on social media, publishing a book, some of you could be learning about business, finances, savings, learning any kind of new skill, it will directly impact your money, which can lead to a new job, you making more money from a new skill set, or even over the next few months, making a very important purchase. Towards the end of August, there could be more tension in the air, things happening out of the blue, and because you have Mars in the first house, be more cautious of the way that you communicate with people. Because when Mars is in the first, we can be more impulsive, argumentative, and because Saturn is going to square Mars, this could also lead to arguments, disagreements with bosses, people of authority, people at your workplace. So you want to be more cautious with that. I hope that this was helpful, Cancer. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, such a huge month for you. On August 3rd, Chiron, the wounded healer, is stationing retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus. This is your 10th house of career, reputation, public image. So from August till mid-September, you might be questioning your career ambitions, career choices. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, August is bringing in so much change, and it all starts with August 3rd, Chiron going retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus in your 10th house of career and reputation. The next month and a half, you might be questioning your career choices, career moves. Insecurities could come up about where you are within your career. The first 6 days in August, Venus, the planet of love and beauty, is still in your second house, an excellent time to try new restaurants, new foods, go shopping, buy yourself something that you will like for a long time to come. The first 10 days of August, Mars is still in Gemini in your 11th house, so you could be working on a group project. This can cause arguments, disagreements with a friend. Some of you are working hard on a future goal. August 11th, Mars will move into your 12th house. After the 11th, for the rest of May, you may feel more withdrawn, wanting to retreat, spend time alone, meditate, take a vacation. Unexpected expenses can come up, issues from the past may resurface, and you may also feel like you have insomnia, have a hard time falling asleep, or maybe have very vivid dreams. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then this eclipse will affect you more profoundly. There could be other new beginnings happening in your life. If you are a Leo sun, the next year could bring big developments in career, your look, your health, changes in your father's life. If you are a Leo moon, then this means the next year could bring a move, buying or selling a home, moving in with someone, big changes within your family, marriage, pregnancy, changes in your mother's life. Leo rising, this eclipse is taking place in your first house. This is a new beginning in your identity. Some of you could get a new hairstyle, a new wardrobe, a big change in your career, where you are going in this life. Look back to 2007, 2008, and 2009. What exactly was going on in your life at that time? Because the themes are repeating. An eclipse to the first house is like turning over a new leaf. Over the next year, you're drawn to new people, new experiences, and your life could be changing in a very big way. Anything is really possible. Pregnancy, marriage, engagement, meeting somebody new. And you may notice this over the next year because there is not another solar eclipse in Leo until the summer of 2027. Eclipses can bring out huge changes. It can even start feeling very chaotic around August, or like you're not in charge of the changes. It's just like life is happening to you. Now, during the eclipse, Mercury and Jupiter are conjunct in your first house. Mercury rules over your second house of finances. So for a lot of you, this is a new beginning with money, making money, buying a possession, a big possession, moving in with somebody, starting a new business. And Mercury also rules over your 11th house of groups, friends, older siblings. So new beginnings could come from friendships, new acquaintances. And because Jupiter and Mercury are conjunct in your first house means that this eclipse is going to give you a lot of options to change your life. Neptune from your 9th is trining Mercury and Jupiter, and this means you could be feeling more intuitive, more compassionate. Uranus from your 11th house is sextiling Mercury and Jupiter, which means events can unfold unexpectedly out of the blue. Some of you might gain sudden popularity, meet new people, change your friendships, reach a big goal that you have been working towards. On the negative, Mercury and Jupiter are both opposing Pluto in your 7th house, which means a lot of you will be needing to have those tough, needed conversations with a partner, a business partner, maybe an ex, or even uncover secrets, things you didn't know about, you were unaware of as they pertain to your relationships can come to light. Mars is going to square Venus and Neptune is opposing Venus. This can bring frustrations in relationships or confusion in relationships. And now that the nodes are shifting signs to the Leo Aquarius axis, you're going to have the North Node in your 7th house. And this means the focus is on other people, your close relationships. Other people are taking you to the new beginnings. And this could be a new relationship, a new contract, business partner, new clients coming to your business, taking a relationship to the next level, marriage, engagement, moving in with somebody, falling in love with somebody completely different. And you have Pluto in your 7th house now too. And Pluto is asking you to change, transform your life through romantic relationships. And because the South Node will be in your first house. You may feel a sense of dissatisfaction with where you are in life or a sense of detachment. And other people are going to help you open up to new opportunities, help take your life in a new direction. And with the North Node in the 7th, those of you who are already married, you have a partner, this could mean there's a lot of new beginnings over the next 18 months in your partner's life. Something happens for them that benefits both of you. Or maybe even both of you start a business together, you start working together on a common goal. Most of August, you have Venus, the planet of love, beauty, in your 3rd house. It goes into your 3rd house on August 6th. So the joy and pleasure throughout August will come from learning a new skill, taking a short trip, a vacation, spending time with friends, a sibling, hanging out within your community, checking out the restaurants, the shops, working on something creative, and even online chat rooms, gossip, consuming some social media. All these things will bring more pleasure to you throughout the month of August. August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees of Virgo or Pisces, and even Gemini or Sagittarius, then this eclipse can affect you more profoundly. And this eclipse story has been unfolding in your 8th house for quite a while, as this is where we were previously having eclipses. The last time we had an eclipse close to this degree was August 28th, 2007. It was at 5 degrees of Pisces, and this eclipse is almost 5 degrees of Pisces. If you want to look back and see what was happening in your life at that time, this is happening in your 8th house of joint finances. This is happening in your 8th house. And for some of you, this could be a literal or metaphorical ending. Past situations can come to the surface. Some of you may even be processing guilt, shame, fear, loss, going over a difficult experience. This could be the end of a contract, an agreement, such as a lease, a work contract, achieving a financial goal with a partner. Material rewards, gifts, inheritances, gifts from parents, in-laws, even parting ways with a therapist, a counselor, an accountant, a lawyer. Some of you may be letting go of a certain financial obligation, responsibility. The ruler of the full moon, Jupiter, is in your 1st house, where you have a solar eclipse. So for a lot of you, this could be a big transformation in the way that you look. Some of you maybe even having some plastic surgery. For some of you, maybe this is a breakup, a divorce, and everything is finally settled and you can finally move on, cut ties with the ex, and feel like you are finally ready to start fresh. There is a lot of hard aspects to this lunar eclipse. Uranus is squaring the sun, squaring Mercury. Changes could come out of nowhere. Unexpected impulsive communication. The moon opposite Mercury means we can misread what people are trying to tell us. Saturn opposing Venus means there could be issues with relationships, with finances, or it may just seem like there is a lot of roadblocks with finances or with inner close relationships. And we're going to have Saturn squaring Mars, which always brings frustrations, setbacks, delays. We want to take action, but something is stopping us. So the end of the month brings a lot of chaos and we could be more emotional. Huge month for you, Leo. I'm wishing you all the best. I hope this was helpful. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. August 3rd, Chiron, the wounded healer, is stationing retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus in your 9th house area. So from now on until mid-September, you could be really questioning some of the things you've learned and maybe putting them into practice and trying to find the answers to deep spiritual truths. The first 6 days of August, Venus is still in Virgo in your 1st house, an excellent time for shopping, changing up your hairstyle. You're more magnetic, more charismatic, and you can attract people and opportunities to you effortlessly. August 6th, Venus will move into Libra. This is your 2nd house of finances, possessions, and this is really good for money as well as shopping. Some of you could start making more money, get a promotion, a better paying job. After the 6th, all throughout August is an excellent time to go out to eat, taste good food, go shopping. When Venus is in the second house, you can buy yourself possessions you're going to love for a really long time to come, especially because Venus in Libra is all about good taste in food, good taste in clothing. If you find yourself stressed throughout the month of August, you may turn to going out to eat, shopping, or spending time with those that you love, because that is what's going to bring in a lot of pleasure into your life. And the first 10 days of August, Mars is still in Gemini, which is your 10th house. And this means you are very focused on your career, very driven to advance in your career. Watch out for arguments or conflict with bosses, people of authority. That first 11 days of August is a great opportunity to start something new, especially as it pertains to your career. We have a trine with Venus and Pluto. This could be a better job offer, a new job, more money coming your way. August 11th, Mars moves into Cancer, your 11th house. So from the 11th, the focus shifts to socializing, working on group projects. There could be challenges with friendships, even arguments or disagreements with friends or an older sibling. At the very least, your friends and acquaintances could annoy you a little bit more. For the first 22 days of August, your ruler Mercury is sitting in your 12th house along with Jupiter, the South Node. And this means you are working on projects behind the scenes, wanting to withdraw. And you may be feeling like you have less energy. And the other aspect to this is that Jupiter rules over your 4th house of home and family and your 7th house of relationships. Sitting there in your 12th house along with your ruler means that throughout August, you could be going back over family dynamics, organizing, decluttering your home, planning a move, moving, and you may also be going over your past relationships. An ex from your past may contact you, show up in your life. So that's a lot of the August energy aside from the eclipses. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, you will feel this eclipse more profoundly. There could be other big changes happening in your life. This new moon solar eclipse is taking place in your 12th house. This is all about letting go of the past, letting go and releasing past painful memories, grudges. Over the next year, you're really going to start taking care of your mental health. And that's everything from overthinking, fears, anxieties. Over the next year, you are releasing self-sabotaging behaviors. And this is a very important eclipse because there is not another solar eclipse in Leo until the summer of 2027. So this whole month, you can feel a little bit more withdrawn and you can have a lot of those aha moments about how you get in your own way, how you self-sabotage yourself, your life goals. A lot of you over the next year are releasing bad habits, addictions. This can also mean that sudden expenses come up, and the 12th house is release. It is letting go. And Mercury, your ruler, and Jupiter is also sitting in the 12th house, which definitely means you are shedding old parts of your identity, cutting ties with toxic habits, toxic people. And because Jupiter, the ruler of your 4th house, is in the 12th, means that the next year can bring in a family loss or a move, or even the sale of a vehicle, the sale of a home, moving to a foreign country, traveling to a foreign country, or even moving far away from where you live now, a new state. Jupiter also rules your 7th house of relationships. Some of you could be cutting ties with a business partner, releasing painful memories, grudges, for ex-partners. For some of you, this could be finalizing a divorce. An ex from the past returning. There could be changes in your partner's life. Or maybe even letting go of a relationship that is just not right for you. This eclipse will have a lot of positive aspects. Neptune is trining Mercury and Jupiter, and Uranus is sextiling Mercury and Jupiter. So a lot of this can come as a surprise, and you're going to be feeling more psychic, more intuitive, more compassionate. On the negative, Neptune will oppose Venus, and this can bring a lot of confusion within relationships. But because Neptune is now retrograde, If there's any lies, dishonesty within relationships, this eclipse is going to bring that out, especially because Mercury, your ruler, and Jupiter will also oppose Pluto. The truth will come out, or you're going to be having those tough, needed conversations on or around this eclipse. And now that the nodes are shifting to the Leo Aquarius axis, the next 18 months is bringing changes to your work routine, your health habits, the awareness of your negative subconscious patterns. A new pet may come into your life. Your sleep patterns may change. You are releasing thinking patterns that get in the way of your best life. When we have eclipses on this axis, it's all about health, mental health, work routine, rest. And those of you who own a business, it can be a time where you hire new employees. You need to hire new employees. New coworkers could come into your place of work. Some of you may change jobs, get a promotion. You may feel more psychic, intuitive, more connected with the spirit world. You may also have a lot of creative inspiration. Really pay attention to your dreams, or if you feel really inspired to do something. This next eclipse cycle will be like 2007, 2008, 2009, even 1990, 1991, if you want to look back and see how this eclipse cycle can play out for you. But this time you also have Jupiter, the planet of luck and abundance, transiting your 12th house, which hasn't happened since 2014. Jupiter in the 12th is that silent protection. You may feel more psychic, intuitive, spiritual. Some of you may want to help people, do some charity work, learn new spiritual practices, improve your sleep. From the 18th to the 24th, Saturn in your 8th will be opposing Venus in your 2nd. And this can bring in restrictions in romantic relationships, relationships of all kinds, and restrictions with finances. August 27th, the Sun is going to conjunct Mercury in your first house, and this means a new beginning. You're ready to share something with the world, improve your skill sets, make a lot of big changes in your life and your career. August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees of Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, then you're going to feel this eclipse more intensely. There could be other major changes going on in your life. The last time we had an eclipse very close to this degree was August 28th of 2007. We had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces. And this is almost at 5 degrees of Pisces, so this is very similar. And this is a continuation of a bigger story that has been in effect since you've been having eclipses on this axis. It's all about relationships, partnerships. For some of you, this is a big celebration, an engagement, a marriage, taking a relationship to the next level, signing a business contract. For some of you, this could be ending a contract with certain clients, a business partner, and even ending a relationship, releasing a relationship that is not working, that's not right for you. You may be doing this, or a partner may be doing this. Eclipses sometimes come with chaos. Things happen out of nowhere. This eclipse is also going to trigger that Mars-Uranus conjunction that happened in your 10th house with career and reputation. So for some of you, this could be career changes, changes in the home, changes in relationships, in your partnerships. So you all will have a different story depending on your chart, but this eclipse cycle was very interesting, and there is another Virgo lunar eclipse coming up in early 2027, but most of the eclipses happening in your 7th house were lunar eclipses. So while some of you found love, you're getting married, taking a relationship to the next level, a lot of Virgo risings were just releasing outdated relationships, connections, and maybe even moving away from relationships altogether. Because it wasn't that long ago when Saturn and Neptune left your 7th house, and Neptune was there for about 14 years, so a lot of you have crazy stories, and maybe even painful breakups, deception within relationships that you are just now getting over. So those of you who have been harboring feelings for an ex-partner, you're having a hard time healing from a breakup, this eclipse can finally set you free. It can release you from those feelings. This is where the North Node was transiting. So it is the area of life that you were and still are developing yourself. So for some of you, the next few months can bring in a new relationship. But overall, this is bringing a big change to your relationships. And this eclipse can be a little tougher because there's some tough aspects happening towards the end of the month. We have Saturn opposing Venus, bringing restrictions with relationships, delays or blockages. Uranus will be squaring the sun, so events could come out of nowhere unexpectedly, and you're unprepared for them. Uranus is squaring Mercury, your ruler, which means anything can happen. Unexpected communication, impulsive actions, and we have a square between Mars and Saturn, and this is always tough. It brings frustrations, setbacks, delays. We want to do something, but there's blockages. The moon opposing Mercury means there could be confusion, and we could really misunderstand, misread people's intentions, and there could be some miscommunication for sure. So the last 2 weeks of August has got some crazy energy around it, that is for sure. And those of you who are early degree Virgo risings, or you have personal planets close to 4 degrees of Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, you guys will be feeling this the most. So try not to make any rash decisions on or around the eclipse times, as a lot of information could still be coming to you. I'm wishing you all the best during this eclipse season. I hope that this was helpful for you, Virgo. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising, August 3rd, Chiron, the wounded healer, is stationing retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus. So the next month and a half, there could be wounds that come up around shared responsibilities, intimacy, finances, joint finances. The first 10 days of August, Mars is still in Gemini in your 9th house. Some of you could be planning a trip, returning from a trip, learning, finishing up a publishing or writing project. August 11th, Mars enters Cancer, your 10th house of career and public image. So all of August, you are really trying to advance in your career. You will be very career focused. Watch out for arguments, disagreements with bosses, people of authority. The first 5 days of August, with your planetary ruler, Venus, being in the 12th house, you may feel more withdrawn, more low energy. August 6th, Venus, your ruler, will enter your first house. And this is making you more attractive, more charming. A great time to update your style, change your hair, go shopping. You're attracting people to you effortlessly. And from the 8th to the 12th, Pluto is trining Venus. This is an excellent time to attract love into your life. Those of you who are single, you might meet somebody, fall in love. Some of you, maybe even pregnancy, or you have a lot of luck with a creative project or some investments or money and gifts coming from other people. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then this eclipse will affect you more profoundly. There could be other changes occurring in your life. Now, this eclipse is taking place in your 11th house, groups, friendships, long-term goals. And this is a new beginning. A lot of you could be reaching a goal that you have been working towards for a long time. You can gain recognition, more followers for yourself, for your business, a raise, a promotion, rewards, join new groups, clubs, charities that you feel aligned to, meet new friends, make new connections. Jupiter will be conjunct Mercury in the sign of Leo during this eclipse, and this is going to give you more options to start something new, to take a skill set to the next level. There is a lot of positive aspects to this eclipse. Neptune is trining this eclipse. Some of you could be starting something new with a partner, meeting new friends, associates through a partner or a business partner. Uranus from your 9th house is sextiling this eclipse, so a lot of ideas can come to you out of the blue. You could form new alliances out of the blue through learning a new skill, through travel. On the negative, Neptune is going to oppose Venus, and this could create some relationship misunderstandings around the eclipse time. And Jupiter and Mercury are opposing Pluto in your 5th house, which means on or around this eclipse, you could be finding things out you were unaware of about a friend, a child, a romantic partner. And you could be having those much needed hard conversations around the eclipse time. And now that the nodes are shifting over to the Leo Aquarius axis, your 5th and 11th house is where the action is taking place. The North Node in your 5th house means that your focus will be on creativity, children, romantic relationships. A new romance can come into your life, falling in love. For some of you who are of age, this is a time of pregnancy, childbirth, maybe grandchildren. Finding new ways of having fun, new hobbies, find new ways to express yourself creatively. Maybe some of you can even start investing your money. And because the South Node will be in your 11th house, you are changing your friendships. Your social circle could be changing, and sometimes it's not because you fall out with a friend, but maybe because your lives change. Maybe somebody moves. Sometimes there can be some fallouts with friendships, certain group associations. Your social circle is changing, but you also have Jupiter sitting in the sign of Leo for the next year, which hasn't happened since 2014. So there's also going to be expansion in this area. Gaining recognition from the public, meeting new friends, like-minded people. So certain friendships can be replaced with new friendships, new alliances. So this eclipse cycle that we are going into now is like 2007, 2008, 2009, or if you want to go back further, 1990, 1991. So the same themes are coming back around, only this time a little bit different because we have Jupiter also with the South Node in your 11th house, and we have Pluto sitting in your 5th house along with the North Node. And Pluto is in your 5th house for quite a while, asking you to transform your life through children, fun, romance, creative self-expression. If you are single, you want to start dating, the next 18 months is a great time to meet somebody new. The 18th through the 24th, Saturn is opposing Venus, which can give us challenges in finances, and it may seem like there's challenges and restrictions in our personal relationships. August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, then this eclipse can affect you more profoundly. If you go back to August 28th of 2007, that's the last time we had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces, and this is almost 5 degrees of Pisces. This is just a continuation of a story that's already been unfolding. There's probably already been a lot of changes in your work environment, your health habits. This is landing in your 6th house of health, work, routine. So this eclipse can bring in changes to your workplace. Coworkers could be changing, certain coworkers leaving, quitting. Those of you who own a business, you might have to let go of an employee. An employee might leave, quit. Some of you may leave or quit a job. There could be a job change for some of you. It doesn't have to be, but there could be. Some of you are changing up your health routine, letting go of negative habits. There could also be issues with your pets that come up around this time. Some of you could be celebrating reaching a fitness goal, paying off debt, restructuring your debt, your bills. And this eclipse can also bring big changes to your routine. The ruler of this eclipse, Jupiter, is sitting in your 11th house. That is where you have the solar eclipse this month. So this eclipse can also bring changes to your future goals, your friendships. There can be a lot of chaos going on at the end of August because we have Uranus squaring the sun. It is squaring Mercury, which means events can be unpredictable, unfold out of nowhere. We're not prepared for what's happening. Mars is squaring Saturn, which means there could be a lot of frustration, a lot of setbacks, delays. So there's a lot of changes coming up this month, Libra. I hope that this was helpful for you. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, August 3rd, Chiron, the wounded healer, is stationing retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus, your 7th house of relationships. So from August until mid-September, past relationship wounds may surface. Relationship trust issues can surface as well. Some of you could be going over past relationship patterns that you keep repeating. The first 10 days of August, Mars is still in Gemini, which is your 8th house. So watch out for arguments, disagreements over money, shared responsibilities, and you may be going over issues from the past. The first 5 days of August, Venus is in your 11th house, so you could be more social, working on a group project, or just having fun hanging out and connecting with your friends. August 6th, Venus enters Libra. So for a lot of you, the pleasure and joy in the month of August is going to come from self-care, creative projects behind the scenes. And for some of you, this could bring back an ex-partner into your life. From the 8th to the 12th, Pluto from your 4th house is making a trine to Venus. For some of you, this could be a move, decorating your home, buying a new vehicle, happiness coming to you through family. August 11th, Mars will enter Cancer, and this is your 9th house. A lot of you could be going on a trip, a vacation, learning, teaching, working on a writing project, publishing your work in some way. There could be disagreements with a father or with teachers. Mars is your planetary ruler. So because it's going to be in the 9th house, that is really going to be your focus for August. It's going to be either travel, learning, or just taking in information via YouTube videos, books, documentaries, talking to people from all walks of life. Or you could be applying to school, dealing with legal documents. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then this eclipse will affect you more profoundly, and there could be other changes occurring in your life. This is landing in your 10th house of career and reputation. This is a solar eclipse. So this is a brand new beginning in your 10th house. For some of you, a new business, a new career, a promotion, a new title. This can also mean that over the next few months to a year, your workplace changes. You could be reporting to new bosses, new managers, new people of authority at your work. The 10th house is the house of status. This means a lot of you are having a status change over the next few months. And this could be in the form of a marriage, a higher paying job. The 10th house is also what we are known for, what we are known to do on a day-to-day basis. So if you were a stay-at-home mom, an eclipse to the 10th can be that you are now ready to get back into the workforce. You are known for doing a certain job, and now you're going to be doing a different job. Or maybe some of you may even be going into retirement. It could be different for everybody, but that is what this eclipse is changing. It is changing something with your career and reputation. The middle of the month will bring a big focus to work and career. Mercury and Jupiter are conjunct together in the sign of Leo, where this eclipse is taking place. And this is giving us expansion, more options within the career. And you have Jupiter here over the next year, which means promotion. You're more visible. A lot of you could definitely be getting a new job, a higher paying job over the next year. There is a sextile from Uranus to Mercury and Jupiter, meaning events can unfold out of the blue all of a sudden. Neptune from your 6th house is trining Mercury and Jupiter. So this is going to make you more psychic, compassionate, more intuitive throughout this eclipse. But also a lot of you could be inspired to initiate something new in the area of work and career. On the negative, Neptune is opposed Venus, which could bring complications or misunderstandings within our personal relationships. And Mercury and Jupiter are opposing Pluto in your 4th house of home and family. And this means that around the eclipse, a lot of you are having those much needed conversations, especially as they pertain to business, work, and your home. Some of you maybe even with your family. If there's been any secrets, anything hidden, kept from you, then things could be revealed around this eclipse. News about family members, news about work. And now that the North and South Node are shifting over to the Leo Aquarius axis, the next 18 months is going to bring changes to your home and family life. Changes in your mother's life, your father's life, changes in where you live. You could move, take on some home renovation. This can also mean buying or selling of a vehicle, somebody coming to live with you. This could also mean a new baby, a new pet, because the North Node is going to be in your 4th house. That is what you're really developing. You're developing your inner security, and there's going to be a lot of changes around the place where you live and within your family. And this eclipse cycle is also going to bring changes to your career, reputation, what you are known for. That's where Jupiter is transiting over the next year, and that is where the South Node is. So a lot of you could let go of previous roles and do something completely different. There could be changes with bosses, managers, the people that you work with. And this eclipse cycle that we are having now for the next 18 months is like 2007, 2008, 2009. Or if you want to go back further, 1990, 1991. From the 18th to the 24th, Venus is opposite Saturn, and this can bring delays, restrictions. There could be more relationship issues that come up around those days. There could also be financial issues, financial restrictions. August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have any personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, then this eclipse can affect you more profoundly. There may be other changes happening in your life. Look back to August 28th of 2007. That is the last time we had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces. So it's basically that same area. This is happening in your 5th house of children, romance, creativity, investments. For some of you, this could be an end to a romantic relationship, completing a creative project that you have been working on. Changes in the life of your child. Maybe a child reaches a big milestone. Some of you could also be taking a relationship to the next level, engagement, marriage, a bigger commitment. Changing up your investments, how you invest your money, where you invest your money. The 5th house area is also our fun, our hobbies, how we like to have fun, what we like to do for fun. And with a lunar eclipse in this 5th house, over the next few months, you might decide that some of the hobbies that you do, some of the things that used to bring you a lot of joy, no longer bring in the same excitement, and you may replace them with something else you'd rather do instead. But this definitely can bring in changes to your romantic life. Some of you, if you are of age, this could also mean childbirth, pregnancy, grandchildren. You could have a child that is getting ready to graduate and go off to college, a child that is getting married, having their own baby. So the end of the month is bringing a big focus to children, romance, creativity. A lot of you may already be going through these changes right now or over the next few months. The ruler of this full moon lunar eclipse is Jupiter, which is sitting in your 10th house. This is where your solar eclipse is in the month of August. So for a lot of you, you could be taking a creative passion and turning it into a business, finishing up a big creative project and presenting it to the world, especially those of you who produce content. You share your gifts, your crafts with the world. And for some of you, this means a change in status, whether that be through a new job, a promotion, leaving a job, getting married, or even getting divorced. It will be different for every one of you, depending on your personal chart. The end of the month can bring in some chaos because we have Uranus squaring the sun. It's squaring Mercury, which means events can unfold suddenly and we're not prepared for them. The moon is opposing Mercury, so we can misread people's intentions. Mars is squaring Saturn, and this can bring in a lot of frustration. We want to do something, move forward with something new, but there's blocks, delays. So a lot of people could feel more impulsive, more emotional, more frustrated at the end of August. You want to try to avoid making any rash decisions on or around these two eclipses. So around the 12th and around the end of the month, around the 28th. With eclipses, sometimes things get chaotic because sometimes with eclipses, things happen that are out of our control. And all we can do is respond. And you really don't want to initiate anything new with that very chaotic energy, especially at the end of the month. I hope that this was helpful for you, Scorpio. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Mars, the planet of anger and action, is still in the sign of Gemini for the first 10 days of August. This is your 7th house of relationships, so people can be more argumentative with you, especially a partner or spouse. If you notice that you and your partner are fighting more the first 10 days of August, it's a good time to do more active things together. The first 5 days of August, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, money, is in your 10th house of career and reputation. So things could be going smoother at work. So the majority of the month, what's going to bring you a lot of pleasure and joy is hanging out with your friends, being more social. If you own a business, you're on social media, this could be a time where you get more recognition, more followers. Join groups or clubs that you feel aligned to. Or go shopping, buy yourself something really nice. That is where the pleasure and joy will be throughout the month of August. From August 8th through the 12th, Venus is making a trine to Pluto. Some of you, this is a time when you can gain more recognition, rewards. Friends or associates can help you move up the ladder. A lot of benefits can come from just social interactions. For some of you, maybe even a promotion, a raise, getting recognized in some way. August 11th, Mars will enter the sign of Cancer. It's going into your 8th house. So from the 11th moving forward, watch out for arguments, disagreements over money, bills, finances, or family responsibilities. You can be more emotional. Past issues may resurface. And there's going to be a big focus on finances, joint finances. August 12th, there is a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then this eclipse can be more profound. There could be other changes happening in your life. This eclipse is landing in your 9th house of higher education, spirituality, travel. And this is a new beginning. Some of you going back to school to get more credentials, needing more education, something can spark your interest and you want to learn, take a new course, applying to college, a university, a new writing publishing deal, wanting to teach. Some of you could be planning a trip, wanting to get your passport, immigration paperwork done. There may be new developments in the life of your father, or your relationship can change in some way. Some of you over the next year might be wanting to travel, maybe even to foreign lands. And this means that over the year, your belief systems can change. Maybe decide you want to get on social media. You might find a lot of books, documentaries, coaches, teachers that inspire you, help broaden your view of the world. You're going to be interested in learning a lot of new things, new ideas. During this eclipse, we have Mercury conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Leo, which means there's a lot of options. A lot of you want to refine your skill sets or even share your skill sets with the world, with an audience. Uranus is trining Mercury and Jupiter, so events could unfold out of nowhere. There could be a lot of surprises. You could be inspired to learn or teach something new out of the blue. Neptune is trining Mercury and Jupiter, so you can feel more intuitive, more psychic, more compassionate during this eclipse. On the negative, personal relationships can be a little bit confusing around this eclipse as we have Neptune opposing Venus and Mercury and Jupiter are opposing Pluto in your 3rd house. Some of you could be doing a lot of research. This is also when secrets could be exposed, or you may be having those tough, needed conversations on or around this eclipse. And now that the North and South node are switching to the Leo Aquarius axis, the next 18 months is going to bring big changes to your community, your neighborhood, where you live. There could be changes happening in your siblings' lives, gaining new knowledge, changes in your father's life, in your thinking, your belief system. You could be releasing outdated belief systems, outdated forms of thinking. There could also be short and long distance trips on the horizon for you, Sagittarius, over the next 18 months. Because the North Node will be in your 3rd house, you're going to be very focused on community, learning new skills. Some of you could be getting a new cell phone, new computer, new tools such as a camera, microphone, printer, drawing, painting equipment, anything that you use to do a skill, a job. You may notice a lot of new neighbors coming to your community. new stores and restaurants opening up around where you live, and you're going to want to be more social. A lot of you could also make new accounts on social media. Maybe make a YouTube channel, a website. You're going to want to get out there and share your thoughts, share your ideas. Put what you have been learning into practice. And this eclipse cycle that we are having now is like 2007, 2008, 2009. Or if you want to go back further, 1990, 1991. So you can look back and see what was happening in your life because the themes are returning yet again. From the 18th to the 24th, we're going to have Venus squaring Saturn, and this can bring challenges or restrictions with personal relationships or finances. August 28th, there is a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees of Pisces, Virgo, even Sagittarius or Gemini, then this eclipse can affect you more profoundly, and there could be other changes occurring in your life. The last time that we had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces was August 28th, 2007. This one is almost at 5 degrees of Pisces. It's just a little bit off. So if you want to look back at what was going on in your life at that time, because the theme is returning. And this is a story that has already been unfolding for you because this is where you had the North Node. And you've been having eclipses on the 4th and 10th house axis for a while now. This is a lunar eclipse. It's landing in your 4th house of home and family. For some of you, this could signify a move, selling your home, a roommate, an adult child moving out, issues coming up within the home repairs, maybe even selling a vehicle. There could be changes in your mother's life, or your relationship may change in some way. Some of you could be doing a big declutter, finishing a home renovation project, or celebrating a big achievement with family. And sometimes this can coincide with a loss in the family, things within the home or family structure changing. This could already be happening or can happen within the next few months. The ruler of this full moon lunar eclipse is Jupiter. Jupiter is in your 9th house where the solar eclipse this month is happening. And Jupiter is your ruler. So some of you may be moving far away from the place where you live, maybe even moving abroad, moving your whole family abroad, or to a place far away from where you live now. Taking care of passport, immigration paperwork, legal documents for your parents or family members. And for some of you, this just means you and your family might be taking a trip, a vacation together in the month of August. Look back to the summer of 2007 to see what themes can play out with this lunar eclipse. And things can get a little bit chaotic at the end of the month because we have Uranus squaring the sun. It's squaring Mercury, so things may happen out of the blue and we're not prepared for them. There could be changes in travel delays. The moon is opposing Mercury, which means we may misread what people are trying to tell us, misread people's intentions. And Mars is squaring off with Saturn, and this can bring delays, frustrations. People can be more emotional, more erratic around the end of the month. So you want to try not to make any rash decisions around the eclipse times as the energy is more chaotic. Information may be coming to you and you may have to respond. That's how eclipses work, is sometimes things happen out of the blue, out of our control, and we are just responding to what life is throwing at us. So big changes coming up for August. I hope that this was helpful for you, Sagittarius. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. August 3rd, Chiron, the wounded healer, is turning retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus in your 5th house of creativity, romance, children. Which means for the next month and a half, we could all be feeling a little bit more insecure about finances, security, stability. And because this is your 5th house, old relationship wounds can come to the surface, and you may think about them a little bit more. The first 10 days of August, Mars is still in Gemini. It's in your 6th house, so you're motivated to get fit, get healthy. You may be more impatient. If you are a business owner, there could be issues with employees. And you may notice that that coworkers are just more argumentative. They can get on your nerves a bit more, and you could have been noticing that throughout July. August 6th, Venus enters Libra. It's going into your 10th house. Venus is the planet of love, beauty, money, and it is always the area of life where we find pleasure and joy in. So throughout the month of August, working on your career, your business, work projects, that's going to bring in a lot of joy into your life. Gaining positive recognition from the public, your superiors, management. Some of you could start making more money, get a promotion. But at the very least, what is going to bring you joy in the month of August is just really focusing on your career or your reputation. August 11th, Mars will enter Cancer, and this is your 7th house of relationships. So from the 11th, for the rest of the month, business partners, romantic partners, and close friends, people around you can be more argumentative. So if you notice that throughout the month, that is why. And if you notice that you are fighting more with a romantic partner or spouse, doing more active stuff together, active activities is what will help, because Mars is all about action and anger. But you may notice more stressful interactions with romantic partners, with clients, business partners throughout the month of August. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then this could be a more intense eclipse for you. There could be other changes happening in your life depending on what that planet represents. This is a new beginning in joint ventures, joint finances, joint responsibilities. If you have a partner or a spouse, they could get a promotion, start making more money. For some of you, this could mean a gift from parents, in-laws, a spouse, an inheritance, an order of alimony or child support, a new contract, a loan. Those of you who are trying to get financing for a car, a home, that could be that new beginning, because loans, financing, other people's money, that is all the 8th house. Strengthening trust issues with an intimate partner. Some of you could be consulting with a therapist, counselor, an accountant, or gain a sudden interest in occult knowledge, secret knowledge, that helps you look at your patterns, other people's patterns, deep diving into past karmic issues you or family members keep repeating. And remember, this is where you have Jupiter transiting for the next year. And Jupiter here can bring blessings with finances, other people's money, with investments, gifts. We have Jupiter conjunct Mercury in your 8th house in the sign of Leo during this eclipse. There is a trine from Neptune to Mercury and Jupiter, and a sextile from Uranus to Mercury and Jupiter, which means events can unfold suddenly. You're feeling more forgiving, compassionate, psychic, intuitive. On the negative, Neptune is opposing Venus, and this can bring confusion in personal relationships or even with finances. And Mercury and Jupiter are opposing Pluto in your 2nd house, which means a lot of you are having those tough, needed conversations with family, with loved ones, with a spouse or partner. And this could be about finances, joint responsibilities, or even negative patterns that keep repeating, maybe having to do with trust. And the 8th house is also the house of secrets, and this is a time when secrets can be exposed, things you were unaware of can come to light, or things that you are trying to hide can also come to light. The 8th house is also where we process grief, shame, guilt. And this solar eclipse could indicate that you're dealing with issues of the past, trust issues, issues of shame, guilt, and pain in a different way. And now that the North and South Node are moving into the Leo Aquarius axis, the next 18 months will bring changes to the money that you make, family responsibility, buying and selling of possessions, a change in your values, changes within the home and family, Changes in your partner's income, changes in intimacy. Now, you are going to have the North Node in your second house, and that is the area of life you're going to be developing over the next 18 months. A lot of you could get a better job, a promotion, start making more money, start your own business, make a big purchase. And because you also have Jupiter in your 8th house over the next year, this means blessings are coming to you through other people's money. If you need to get loans, financing, you're going to notice that there's more money available to you. This can also mean that a partner or spouse will get a better job over the next year. Some of you can receive gifts from your parents, in-laws, and inheritance. For some of you, this could also mean a marriage, pregnancy. That can happen sometimes because the second 8th house axis is of family responsibility, joint responsibility, and the 8th house does rule over intimacy. You may have a sudden interest to learn occult knowledge over the next 18 months as well. And because the South Node will be in your 8th house, some of you could be letting go of support from other people as well, relying less on other people and relying more on yourself. These are the two areas where you're going to notice the most changes over the next 18 months. And if you want to look back and see what this eclipse cycle can bring in for you, look back to 2007, 2008, 2009. That is the last time that we had eclipses on this axis, and we had the North Node in Aquarius and the South Node in Leo. August 18th through the 23rd, Saturn is squaring Venus, and this can bring relationship issues, relationship setbacks, restrictions or delays. And we may also experience financial issues. August 28th, we have a lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, then this eclipse can affect you more profoundly, and there could be other changes occurring in your life. Look back to August 28th of 2007. That is when we had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces, and this eclipse is basically almost at 5 degrees of Pisces. So it's happening in the same area, almost the same degree, and this is landing in your 3rd house of siblings, neighborhood, courage, skill sets. And this means that there could be changes in the life of your sibling, or your relationship can change in some way. For a lot of you, this could be a mindset shift. You are changing your daily routine, taking a trip or coming back from a trip. This also means that your local community could be changing. There's stores, restaurants that are closing down, neighbors leaving your neighborhood, your community. Some of you could decide that you need to learn more, go back to school, that you need more skill sets. This can also be a computer, a cell phone, a printer giving out, you needing to replace tools that you use every day or to do your job. And some of you could be getting rid of social media accounts. The ruler of this eclipse is Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Leo in your 8th house, where the solar eclipse is happening on August 12th. Some of you could be receiving gifts, rewards, and inheritance, releasing toxic patterns, negative thinking patterns, ending a lease, a contract with a therapist, an accountant. There is a lot of chaos going on at the end of the month. Uranus is squaring the sun. It's squaring Mercury, which means events can happen out of the blue. Things may be unpredictable. Things can happen and we're not prepared for them. There could be a lot of travel changes, travel delays for those of you who are traveling. The moon opposing Mercury means we can be misreading people's intentions. And Mars is squaring off with Saturn, which means that there could be delays, setbacks, and a lot of frustration towards the end of August. So you want to try not to make any rash decisions around the eclipse times, because with eclipses, things can be unpredictable or things happen out of our control and we just respond to them. I hope that this was helpful for you, Capricorn. Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. August is such a huge month, and August 3rd is when Chiron stations retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus. And this is your fourth house of home, family, your inner security. So the next month and a half might bring issues of family karmic patterns to the forefront. So the next month and a half can bring in some insecurities around finances, security, and stability. And you may be going over family karmic patterns. The first 10 days of August, Mars is still in Gemini, which is your fifth house. So you could be focused on working on a creative project, indulging more in your creativity, in your hobbies, focusing on a romantic partner, romantic interests. If you have children, they could be more argumentative, and this is what you could have been doing throughout July. The first 5 days of August, Venus is still in Virgo, in your 8th house, doing research, focusing on intimacy, bonding with a romantic partner, secretly researching or learning about the object of your affection, and even studying occult knowledge. So the first 5 days of August, this is what you can find pleasure in and what you found pleasure in July. August 6th, Venus enters Libra. So throughout August, the joy and happiness, the way that you can escape reality is through learning, teaching, books, documentaries, taking in knowledge, even if it's just from social media, immersing yourself in different cultures through music, art, food, or even a getaway. August 8th through the 12th, Pluto is making a trine to Venus, and this can bring blessings into our finances and romantic relationships. Some of you may be taking a vacation, a trip with a partner, meet somebody new while traveling, or you could just be feeling more happy and lucky. August 11th, Mars will enter Cancer, and this is your 6th house of health, work, routine. A lot of you could be very motivated to get fit, to get healthy. This can make you more impatient. And if you are a business owner, there could be issues or difficulties with your employees. And you may notice that coworkers can be more difficult, more argumentative throughout August. Or even if you have pets, you may notice that they require more of your attention. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, you are an Aquarius rising from 15 to 25 degrees, you're going to feel this eclipse more intensely. And these could be huge new beginnings in your romantic relationships. For a lot of you, this could be the beginning of a love story, meeting somebody out of the blue. A proposal, engagement, marriage. For some of you, this can mean pregnancy, a move, moving in with somebody, a new business partner, making new business connections, new customers and clients. If you are a business owner, if you are in a relationship, you're married, there could be new beginnings happening in your partner's life. They could get a new job, a promotion, or even starting something new with a partner or spouse, such as a business. You also have Jupiter sitting in your 7th house for the next year, which means expansion, abundance, and blessings are coming to you through other people, through connections, through romantic relationships. During this eclipse, Jupiter is conjunct Mercury in your 7th house, which means this eclipse is going to bring out a few options. Uranus is making a sextile to Mercury and Jupiter, so events can unfold out of nowhere, meeting somebody out of the blue, you didn't expect it. Neptune from your 3rd house is trining Mercury and Jupiter, which means this eclipse is going to make you feel more compassionate, intuitive, psychic. And some of you could be meeting new people on social media, on the apps, within your community, through a sibling or in your neighborhood. On the negative, Mercury and Jupiter are opposing Pluto in your 1st house, which means around this eclipse, secrets can come to light. If you or your partner have been hiding something from each other, then this eclipse can bring the secrets out. This also means that you're going to have some tough, needed conversations with a partner, a romantic interest, or maybe even business partner. Things that are hard to discuss, people don't want to bring up. These are the conversations that August can bring out, especially the middle of August. Now that the North and South Node are changing signs to the Leo Aquarius axis, the next 18 months is bringing big changes in your look, your personality, what and who you are attracted to. Changes in relationships, friendships, business partnerships, changes coming to your partner or spouse's life. Because the North Node is in your first house, the next 18 months might have you change your look completely, your hairstyle, your clothing, your aesthetic, your health habits. If you go back to 2007, 2008, 2009, anytime you go back 18, 19 years, you'll notice that is always when you get a chance to rewrite your story, and that is exactly what is happening with the North Node in your sign. The next 18 months brings a big focus to you, yourself, developing new aspects of your personality, and that in turn will change everything. It will change who you're attracted to, the people around you, where you want to live, where you want to work. Huge changes can happen. And the South Node will be in your 7th house, which means over the course of the next 18 months, if you are married, you have a partner, it may seem like they want more of your attention as you're moving away towards your own interests. Or you may even feel dissatisfied or detached from a current partner, a relationship. And for some of you, over the next 18 months, there could be a change in relationships. It's not uncommon to have a breakup or divorce when the South Node is transiting the 7th house, or even falling out with certain clients or a business partner. So some of you could actually have a breakup, meet somebody new, all within this 18 months. It really depends on where you're at in life, your chart. But these are the two areas in your life where you're going to see major changes over the next 18 months. The 18th to the 24th, Saturn in Aries is opposing Venus in Libra. This can bring up insecurity, pessimism, financial challenges, and relationship issues. So as we go towards the end of August, it's going to get more chaotic and more crazy. August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 8 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, then this eclipse can affect you more profoundly, and there could be other changes occurring in your life. Look back to August 28th, 2007. We had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces. And this eclipse is 4 degrees and 51 seconds. So it is almost the same degree, the same spot. If you want to see what exactly was happening in your life the summer of 2007. This is part of a longer story that has been unfolding as you were having eclipses in the 2nd, 8th house axis. And actually, there is one more lunar eclipse happening in your 8th house in the beginning of 2027. This lunar eclipse in your 2nd house means something has reached its peak, which can mean you are celebrating an accomplishment or you are releasing something in this area of your life. So for some of you, this could be reaching a financial goal, a raise, a promotion, buying or selling possessions, making a big purchase, getting rid of some of your possessions, becoming very serious about spending habits and budgeting. A financial matter can now come to the forefront. Some of you, this could even be releasing a source of income. You leave a job, get let go of a job. Your income could be changing. The 2nd house is also our values, anything that you find valuable. And this lunar eclipse could really have you rethinking what it is that is valuable to you. At one point, you might have valued possessions, and now you might value security more. Some of you could be getting rid of certain subscriptions as well. The 2nd and 8th house axis is also our family responsibility, how we share time, responsibility, how we pay bills together with a partner, a spouse. So this lunar eclipse could mean you are releasing a family responsibility, a burden, or maybe something that you have been paying for, you no longer feel is worth it. And because the 2nd house is what we find valuable, this can even mean that there's some changes in the family or with close friends. Sometimes I even see that people go through a breakup or divorce, dividing their assets when there's eclipses happening in the 2nd, 8th house. It is 8th to the 7th house of partnerships. So some people, it can be that they are having an ending in a relationship or just had one not long ago. And they are dividing possessions, dividing up assets. Of course, I know that's not going to be everybody, but that can happen because the ruler of this eclipse, Jupiter, is sitting in your 7th house along with the South Node. So for some of you, this could mean a divorce is finalized, a business contract is broken, you are releasing that business contract, cutting ties with certain customers or clients, or maybe changes to your partner's income. Cutting ties with certain customers or clients. On a positive, this could be you and a romantic partner, a spouse celebrating, reaching a financial goal, or making a big purchase. So really, both of these eclipses are tied together. There's a new beginning in your 7th house, but yet there could be something in the 7th house that you are also releasing. And there could be a change in income. The best way to see how this plays out for you is to look at the summer of 2007 or even the fall of 2007. This eclipse could make everyone feel more emotional, more erratic. Uranus is squaring the sun, it's squaring Mercury, which means events can unfold all of a sudden out of the blue, and we're not prepared for them. There could be a lot of travel issues, travel delays, impulsive action, and communication. The moon is opposing Mercury, which means we can misread people's intentions. It could get very confusing. And in numerology, this month is actually 18. It is the moon card in tarot, hidden things, secrets. And then we have Saturn squaring Mars. And this always brings frustrations, delays. We want to go ahead and do something, but there's blockages, something or someone standing in the way. Try not to make any rash decisions around the eclipse times, as the story may still be unfolding for a few weeks to come. We just respond, and the end of the month has a lot of craziness to it. Wishing you all the best, Aquarius. I hope that this was helpful for you. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, August 3rd, Chiron is going to station retrograde at 0 degrees of Taurus. So from now on till mid-September, we may experience feeling insecure with our finances. The first 10 days of August, Mars is still in Gemini, in your 4th house of home and family. So just like in July, some of you have home renovations, you're taking on some home projects, home repairs or vehicle repairs. There could be arguments, disagreements within the family. During the first week of August, Venus is still in your 7th house. So you're going to get a lot of pleasure and joy by connecting with a romantic partner, close friends, customers, or clients. August 6th, Venus will enter Libra, which means in the month of August, you're going to find a lot of joy and pleasure doing research, or maybe even just researching the object of your affection. Some of you may notice that you receive gifts or people want to spend money on you. Or you could also enjoy studying occult knowledge, astrology, tarot. And from August 8th through the 12th, we have a very lucky period as Pluto is trining Venus. Venus is in your 8th house of gifts, money, resources from other people. So for a lot of you, this could be a gift of money, an inheritance. This can also bring intense attractions and intense passion within romantic relationships. Or somebody gets you something really nice. August 11th, Mars will enter Cancer, and you're going to be focused on creative projects, having more fun, your creative hobbies. Some of you can focus on romance, a romantic partner. Children can be more argumentative this month. So after the 11th, the focus is on romance, creative projects, hobbies, children. August 12th, we have a new moon solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Leo. If you have personal planets close to 20 degrees of Leo or Aquarius, then this eclipse will affect you in a more profound way. There could be other changes happening in your life. This is landing in your 6th house of work, health, routine. And this is a new beginning. Some of you could start a new diet regimen, a new workout routine. A new pet can come into your life. The way that you do your job can change. Your work schedule, your workflow. Some of you could even leave a career or a job that you have been doing. And this could be the beginning of a brand new job, a brand new line of work. Maybe even going into business for yourself, finding a new passion, finding your true calling. Those of you who have a business, this can be a time where you have to hire new employees. Coworkers that work with you may change. There could be new coworkers coming to your place of work. Some can be leaving. Some of you could be releasing a negative habit, become very serious about budgeting, spending habits. And this is the area of life where you have Jupiter transiting over the next year. Luck, abundance, and expansion are all coming from work, employees, coworkers, your work routine, and your health habits. A lot of you could get into organizing a lot, organizing your workflow, your work schedule. And Jupiter is conjunct Mercury during this eclipse, which is giving you a lot of options. A lot of you are implementing something brand new within your work, the way that you do your job. Neptune is trining Mercury and Jupiter, and Uranus is sextiling Mercury and Jupiter. So this eclipse can have you feeling more compassionate, intuitive. Things could happen out of nowhere, especially as it pertains to work, coworkers, employees. Watch out for that. And Jupiter and Mercury are opposing Pluto, which means a lot of secrets can come to light if there is anything that you are unaware of as far as your health. Things going on in the workplace, then this eclipse can bring everything out to the surface. And a lot of you are going to be having those much needed hard conversations, especially as they pertain to health, work, your coworkers, your employees, your business partners, or your romantic partners. And now that the North and South Node are moving into the Leo Aquarius axis, the next 18 months will bring a big focus to work, career, your routine, your health, your pets. A new pet can come into your life. Changes within the workplace, changing up the way that you do your work, your routines. And it will also bring a focus to your health, your mental health. Letting go, releasing negative habits. There could be more expenses, a change in your sleep routine. And you'll be working on getting rid of subconscious patterns that hold you back in life. That is the 12th house, how we self-sabotage ourselves. That will be the big focus with this eclipse cycle. And if you want to know how that played out for you last time, look back to 2007, 2008, 2009. Or if you want to go back further, 1990, 1991. August 18th through the 24th, we have Saturn in Aries opposing Venus in Libra, and this can bring challenges or restrictions with our finances, roadblocks, delays, or challenges with relationships. Basically, from the 18th moving forward, things get a little bit more chaotic, more challenging. August 27th, the Sun is conjuncting Mercury at 4 degrees of Virgo in your 7th house of relationships. And this is a new beginning with interactions, communications within your business, with your clients, initiating a new relationship or something new happening in your partner's life. August 28th, we have a full moon lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Pisces. If you have personal planets from 0 to 10 degrees of Pisces or Virgo, then you can feel this eclipse more intensely. If you are early degree Pisces rising, then you will also feel this more intensely, as well as an early degree Pisces sun, Pisces moon. If you are a Pisces sun, then this lunar eclipse can bring changes to your health, your career, changes in your father's life. If you are an early degree Pisces moon, then this eclipse can bring a move, changes within the home and family. Sometimes pregnancy, childbirth, changes in your mother's life. If you are a Pisces rising, you are letting go and releasing old parts of your identity, getting rid of old habits. Look back to August 28th of 2007. That is the last time we had a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees of Pisces. And this lunar eclipse is 4 degrees and 51 seconds of Pisces. So it's the same area, almost the same degrees. The same themes are coming up now as you had in the summer of 2007, the fall of 2007. This lunar eclipse is part of a story that has been already unfolding. This is where we had the North and South node. A lunar eclipse is when something reached its peak. There could be celebrations or endings and release. Because the lunar eclipse is happening in your first house, a lot of you are releasing parts of your identity, personality, old habits. You're getting ready to make huge life changes. You're in the process of big life changes. A lot of you changing your diet, health habits. This eclipse can make you feel very depleted, low energy. A lot of you are letting go of past issues, releasing toxic habits and toxic people from your life. And some of you could be celebrating big achievements that you have made over the course of the year. If you have been identifying with a certain line of work, a certain friendship or relationship, this eclipse can change that. You had the North Node in your sign, you had Saturn in your sign, Neptune in your sign. You guys have been really changing, developing yourself. If you look back every 18, 19 years, when the North Node is on the ascendant, we make huge changes to our look, our personality, and therefore that changes everything. Who we hang out with, where we hang out, what we are attracted to, what qualities do we want from other people. So a lot of you could also be changing your relationships, and there is another lunar eclipse happening in your 7th house at the very beginning of 2027. And this is a very important lunar eclipse for you guys, especially if you are an early degree Pisces rising. Now is when the changes are going to occur. And you're not going to have the North Node in your sign for another 18, 19 years. From this August until April of next year, you will notice big changes in your looks, your style. Some of you could change your hair, your wardrobe, change your whole life around, and therefore your relationships can also change. The ruler of the full moon, Jupiter, is sitting in the 6th house of Leo along with the South Node, and it's the area of life that you have the new beginning happening on August 12th. Essentially, these two eclipses in August are tied together. For a lot of you, this new beginning is releasing certain work projects, completely changing your schedule around. A lot of you are making big changes to your work, to the way that you do your work. For some of you, this could even be a new job altogether, starting your own business, identifying with a completely different line of work. And a lot of you may already be seeing these changes. During this eclipse, Uranus is squaring the sun, it's squaring Mercury. Unpredictable things can happen within your relationships. Things can unfold out of the blue because Mercury is the ruler of your relationships. So there could be changes to your partner's or spouse's life. Some of you may even meet somebody, a destined romantic partner. Unpredictable situations can unfold out of the blue that you're not prepared for, but you have to respond to. Mercury is opposing the moon, so we can really be misreading people's intentions. There could be a lot of confusion in the air. Saturn in Aries is squaring Mars in Cancer. This can bring frustrations, delays, setbacks. We may want to go ahead and do something, take action, but there could be someone or something standing in our way. The end of the month can bring on a lot of intense emotions, impulsive actions. There could be a lot of frustrations. Try not to make any rash decisions on or around these eclipses. Let the information unfold. Let it come to you. A lot of times around eclipses, that's what happens. Things happen out of nowhere. Lots of changes that we have no control over, and we just respond. Those of you who are late degree Pisces risings probably already went through a lot of these changes I am talking about. But right now, early degree Pisces rising, sun or moon, this is when your big changes are coming into your life over the next 6 to 8 months. If you found this helpful, like, comment, subscribe for more.